Good morning, Knicks Nation. Good morning. It is Wednesday morning, the 12th day of July, 12th day of July, 2023. I hope you're all safe and healthy today, enjoying your midweek Wednesday, that your family's also safe and healthy, and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, who along with the first responders are every day saving lives. Blessings also upon those that pick up garbage to keep our places clean and disease-free, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women that are out here trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover the teenagers and children that are the victims of child molestation and pedophilia. The victims also of pornography, child pornography, prostitution, child prostitution, human trafficking, and sex slavery. Double curses on the perpetrators of all these things. Double curses on those who profit from these things. And double curses on the perverts who create the industry for these things. Finally, double blessings on the homeless. Nearly 600,000 men, women, and mostly children homeless in the United States of America. And millions around the world in similar or worse conditions. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. Today, I want you to listen to something. This is Yoshimoto, the summer league coach for the New York Knicks. And he was asked a question about Trevor Keels. Now, this is not about Trevor Keels, although some of you are going to get off topic and talk about it, but it's about his answer. Listen to what he said when he was asked recently about Trevor Keels. Listen to this.
And he'll be fine.
How about Trevor Keels? He only played 14 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of your draft picks.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Just like anybody else, he's got to stay aggressive on both ends of the floor, focus on the daily improvement, and he's got to get better at it.
I'd like to see him more aggressive offensively. Take one shot.
Yeah, not just aggressive meaning taking the shots. I think he has to, the game tells you what to do, right? So,
Who does that sound like? It sounded to me, and it's been sounding, I just used this clip as an example, but Yoshimoto is a clone for Tom Thibodeau. Now, why is that good? Now, fortunately, I'm able to separate whatever differences I may have in Thibodeau's style or in Thibodeau's decision from him being a good coach overall. Of course, there's some of you that are too emotional about this and can't do that. But Thibodeau is a good coach. He's only had 2 losing seasons as a head coach. One of them here in New York. 2 out of 3 seasons, of course, he's had the Knicks in the playoffs. And then again, this past season, they won the first round against the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are, I think 80% of people last summer was tripping because we didn't go give away the store to go get Donovan Mitchell. But anyway, Thibodeau has proven, he's proven himself in the NBA. He could coach. And to me, what I saw here, and what's more important than anything you might like or not like about Tom Thibodeau, for those of us that understand the goal here is long-term sustainable winning. And, of course, within that, to win a championship. Okay? Now, you could win a championship. You could throw together a bunch of all-stars, overpriced, and supplement them with a bunch of minimum salary players, and that's been done, and you could win a chip and then start rebuilding all over again. But the better way to do it, as we've been saying all along, is to build a foundation of an organization and culture which develops a culture and a team and an organization that every year is in the hunt for a winning season, a playoff spot, finals, or championship. And that is not just one player. That's, even though one player can help you, you can't always get a generational talent like a Nikola Jokic. In fact, it's a combination of happenstance, but a guy like Jokic came in the second round. There's not been many second round players that are Hall of Fame level players, or a Giannis, or a LeBron James. These guys don't come around very often. But if you want to have a winning organization, and if you want to draw these type of players to your team, you want to have a solid core from management down to the coach. You want everybody to be on the same page. And this is what I saw here. See, when you notice the if you notice the summer league, since Leon has been in charge, basically, of the Knicks as president of basketball operations, they have been learning each other. And this is like a marriage. The management team is like a marriage. You understand, like when they have to all understand that all of their jobs are tied to each other. People in these positions in upper management, front office, get fired all the time. Okay. And so, except for teams that are long-term sustainable winning. I was looking at the Miami Heat, for example. The Miami Heat's management front office. You know, you have Pat Riley, who's been there for more than 30 years. You've had Eric Spoelstra, who's been with the organization and has stated he can't see himself working for any other organization. The general manager, Andy Ellisberg, has been there for more than 30 years. Keith Askins has been a pro scouting coach for Miami for more than 30 years. These are the trainer's been there for more than 30 years. This is a blueprint, and you can see the same thing with R.C. Buford down to to Greg Popovich in San Antonio. You want stability in your management. Every time a team has to change their coach, it sets you back a little bit because you're trying to build the team around a coach that you pick. Okay, you pick a coach, and you generally want a coach that knows what he wants or has a game plan about what his style is, and you can pick a team based on that coach's style. Now, this is, you can disagree again on Thibs, and I don't really want to hear you whining and griping about him. We're talking about building a long-term winner. So, Leon Rose chose Thibs. They're trying to build a winner around the style of play that Thibs coaches, which is a defensive first, rebound and first stop. What you want is everybody from top to bottom on the same page. It's like a marriage. If you've been married, I've been married now 39 years this year. When you get married, believe me, there's a lot of bumps in the road, and you definitely don't agree on a lot. But one of the things that caused my wife and I to be able to be happily married now after 39 years is you learn to compromise and to meld for the betterment of the whole marriage, for the whole group. And so it takes time. The first, if you've been married, that first 7 years is difficult. You have your honeymoon, then you got the real work going into that first 7 years. If you make it past that 7-year mark, then you got something to build on from there. You're still going to have rough water, but you build. It's like that in pro basketball management. You don't come together immediately, especially in a rebuild. You try your best to meld, but you're going to have bumps in the road. Here are the Knicks. After 3 years together, were there mistakes made? Yes, that's part of the growth of a management team. Okay, so the way it's now, you can see it. If you're watching, you can see it coming together. So you have Walt Perrin. He's the head of scouting. What is he looking for? He's looking for good players. He's looking for good players that are not just could play in the NBA, but he's looking for players that fit the style of Tom Thibodeau. Okay? Then you got Worldwide West. What's Worldwide West's role? If you've been watching, Worldwide West is a dude that was in the beginning of his career. Now, he's well advanced from this, but this is the roots of him. A street level dude that knows ball players from the AAU circuit, from the playgrounds, that went to big time college and then pro, and been doing this for more than 30 years. So he has knowledge of players, knowledge of them and their families. He has information about players that other people may not get. And you have him for those type of contacts that you can make. Contacts that will fit Tom Thibodeau. Okay? Then you have what's this guy's name? Gerson. He's now being brought in. Not that he's running anything. He's going to be the GM. I'll tell you right now, if he's not already, he's going to be. But it's part of a team that fits decision making, and that's where Leon Rose comes in. He makes the decisions, and so all of these guys, Thibodeau, Rose, Worldwide West, Walt Perrin, Gerson, they all gotta come together It takes time. And that's one of the reasons you might see that they chose a Gerson. Because Leon knew him a long time. Thibodeau know him a long time. These guys know each other. It makes it easier for the overall marriage of the management team for the focus of long-term sustainable winning. So when you see Dice Yoshimoto and he's speaking just like Tom Thibodeau, what he becomes now, as you see, is an extension of Thibodeau on the Summer League. He knows what Thibodeau likes. He got his rap down. He knows what type of players Thibodeau wants. He knows what Thibodeau would say to a player in development. That's now you got a oneness with him and Thibodeau. And then you move in toward a oneness with Thibodeau and Leon Rose and World Wide West, who've all known each other for a long time. More than 10 years, all these guys have known each other. Then, of course, you got Walt Perrin and then this guy Gerson. So now all of them have their roles on the management team. So the first year, this is what happened. Thibodeau got the Knicks job, his dream job. He immediately goes to Julius Randle and starts working hard with Julius Randle. Meantime, Leon is thinking, we're going to trade Julius Randle, so I'm going to draft Obi Toppin. So you can see they weren't quite on the same page in the first year. Okay? They go forward, they get some veterans to combine with some of the kids. Of course, Leon wants to build long term. Thibodeau's looking to win right now. So you have a combination like an Alfred Payton to go with the Julius, but then you got an RJ Barrett and a Mitchell Robinson. So you're trying to meld it together. So then they go through that year. We know they finished 41-31. Very successful. They lose in the first round, but this is the first year to rebuild. Second year, Leon says, I think we need some shooting. So he goes and gets Fournier. Then he picks up, hoping that there's something left in Kemba Walker. He gets him for $16 million, okay? So he's like, okay, maybe there's something left. We need a point guard. I'm going to get him. Neither of these guys really fit Thibodeau, okay? And then, that same time, they had drafted the year before, they drafted Obi Toppin and Emmanuel Quickley. Then they drafted Quentin Grimes, Deuce McBride. They drafted these guys, Jericho Sims. And so all of them are trying to be molded. And in fact, Thibodeau was involved with the drafting of the second crew, especially because they're all Thibodeau-type dudes. So now you get a second year, but there's a little friction, there's COVID, there's all kind of things going on. Then Julius wasn't playing the way his attitude was off. They go to 37-45. That's not bad compared to 17-21 wins. But in New York, everybody starts whining and calling for people's heads, even though they've been losing for more than 20 years. But then you go to the third year. Grimes moves into the starting line. Okay? They play more IQ. They pick up Hartenstein. They get another Thibs dude in Brunson. And Julius is talked to. He gets a talking to, but there's one more guy that I didn't mention, got Johnny Bryant, another big time influencer here. He talks to Julius. They worked together last summer. Julius comes up with his best season as a Knick. The Knicks not only, finished fifth in the East when everybody was talking about play-in at best. They win their first round series against Cleveland, who had the Donovan Mitchell that everybody was whining about us getting. And now they're fit now. The third season. They finished the third season. So what I'm seeing is as these guys are learning to be a marriage that works for long term, they're learning what each other's needs are. And they're learning to try to mold and fit and compromise in that. The fact right now is you don't have one guy trying to dominate the narrative. They're working together to build a team, to build an organization, to build a culture, which will win long term. Okay? So that's why, there's people in New York that are always, I don't care what, I remember, and this is a long time ago, people were screaming for Red Holtzman to be fired. Believe that. They were screaming for Red Holtzman to be fired. Guy that won 2 chips. Okay, so everybody in New York, there's always going to be a large contingent of sour grapes that come with negativity. That happens all the time. Some of your youngins that are still calling for Thibs to be fired that don't know what you talk about. Listen, there's been people before you do the same thing. Okay, but overall, like you look at Red Holzman now, somebody would never try to fire him. Yes, they did. There were people calling for his head after they won the championship. So it happens to everybody. But now we got a management team that I don't think anybody understands. There's a oneness there. Okay, there's a oneness. This is the marriage coming together. The first start of the marriage in the NBA, where I said for a real marriage in life is 7 years. In the NBA, you get a 5-year plan. That's the 5-year plan to meld yourself together into a contender, or at least something that has a foundation of winning. Even in that, sometimes you get set back. See, even like Oklahoma City, they went and got SGA. They traded Paul George. They started again with SGA because they had just traded or let go of CP3, of Harden, of Kevin Durant, all of them, and they started again. But then they had to restart again when Paul George left, and then they got SGA. They've been working with him now. Then they're building from that. Okay, they got set back a little bit last year with Chet Holmgren being drafted at the top, but then getting hurt all year. But they got Jalen Williams. That's an example. So it's a 5-year plan, but usually smaller markets have more patience than a market like New York, unfortunately. But that's the way it is. New York, though, it's a 5-year plan, and they're doing great. To me, in 3 years, they're doing great. So now they clean it up a little bit. They add Dante. They let go of Obi. Not that Obi was negative, but Obi just wasn't fitting with Thibs. For good or for bad, it is what it is. And I know Obi's going to go off. Like I said, 20 and 8 is the minimum numbers I'm looking for from him coming into this season. But that's beside the point. Now, they tweaked it. Like I said, they could go to war with what they got right now. I'm very confident in that. They could make a move. But see, you got to be careful now. The RJ, as I mentioned the other day, RJ is the weak link right here, but you got to be careful. You drafted him 2nd overall. No, 3rd overall. Sorry, you drafted RJ 3rd overall. You're supposed to be developing him. But you listen, I'm going to tell you right now, if the Knicks keep RJ and keep him in the starting lineup, this is the year he's got to take a step. I'm not saying he's got to be a superstar this year, but he's got to improve in a couple of areas. There's multiple areas he needs improvement on. Some people keep whining about him being left-handed and going to his left. When somebody stops him from going left, then you can whine. Until that happens, y'all need to shut up, because can't nobody stop him. The whole league knows that's actually a positive thing. Like, everybody knows you're going left and still can't stop you. So that's good, but he's got to learn to finish within 8 feet of the basket. That's one of the main things he has to do. He has to be a more consistent 3-point shooter, a more consistent foul shooter. He has to cut down on his silly turnovers, and he's got to play better defense. Okay, he's got to play better defense. That is the biggest thing to me, because if you take a defender at his spot right now, somebody that's a better, like we talked about OG Anunoby a lot, but I'm saying if you get a guy that can defend like an OG Anunoby next to a Quentin Grimes, you're going to have a different team, because now you're playing to Tom Thibodeau style basketball. You're going to see a lot of games under 100 points and under 90 points because of that defense. Okay, you're giving the weakness to Jalen Brunson as your weakest defender, and then of course we know we can't do nothing about Julius. He could play defense when he feels like it. Okay, then of course you got Mitchell Robinson. So, but if you could get a high level defender at that spot, at that 3 spot, you can really turn this team up a notch. Okay, and don't let that high level defender also be a knockdown spot up 3-point shooter like OG Anunoby. I'm just saying, but that will bring the team up a notch. It could be OG Anunoby. Could be Mikal Bridges. There's a number of players that we talked about already that could fit that role. But RJ, if he's going to be on this team long term this year, he don't have to show improvement in all these areas. He's got to show improvement on the defense, though. And he's got to show improvement in one of these other areas. I'm just giving him 2. Give me some better defense and either finish better, become a better more consistent 3-point shooter, or a better foul shooter. One of them. And he's capable. If he is capable, we should see it this year. Okay, he can't drastically improve in all of these areas at one time. It doesn't work like that. But defensively, and like I said, let's say finishing, because he gets to the rim. See, like I said, everybody in the league know he's going left and can't stop him. He gets to the rim. Okay, so he just has to learn how to finish. He's not a good finisher there. He's got to learn how to finish. So if he could do those two things, then they'll probably just keep going forward with him. But if he can't, we already talked about how they already got Quick and they got Grimes. They could put them out there. They got a better defensive front. They score better. They're better consistently. Both of them are flat out better defenders and better foul shooters and better shooters than RJ. Flat out. Okay, so they got that already. We have to see what RJ does. And because of the building of the culture, it dictates that they must. If they're not going to trade him, they have to give him a shot. They got to see how this works. Okay? What I would say might happen is if he takes the step forward that we're hoping he takes. And like I said, I'm only talking about 2 areas right now out of the multiple areas I named. If he can finish better at the rim, he's one of the worst at finishing in the league for a starting 3. If he can finish better, and if he can give us some really solid defense, okay? We don't need him guarding point guards. We need him being able to guard 3s and 4s, really. And if he can guard a little 2s, that'd be good too. But 1s, he don't really need to guard that much. I think we need to keep him away from the point guard because we got enough defenders there to do that. With Deuce, with Grimes, with Quick, we got enough defenders to guard point guard. But we need him to guard his position and the guard 4s, and I think that's what we're going to see more of. That's why I'm not worried about Obi. RJ's probably a better defender against 4s than people think. I think you're going to see that this coming season. If he is able to do that, those 2 areas, then the Knicks will run with him. If not, you're going to see him not finish games. You're going to see other lineups where he's not finishing because of the fact of he's weak on defense. This is the year he's got to show. Okay, so we'll see, but I'm telling you right now, the whole management team, they're going to come together on the decision. This is just an example and make this decision because this is how close the Knicks are. That's where we at right now. A guy that can defend at the 3 spot and knock down open 3s changes the calculus for the Knicks, the entire calculus. I don't care what other teams have signed, who they got. I don't care. The Knicks got the continuity both in the management and on the team. So if you get an improvement at that spot, even with Julius, with all of his faults, if he continues to do what he does, but you get improvement at the 3 spot, the Knicks move up. They do. So that's what we'll be looking for. But what I'm liking is the coming together, the melding of the blueprint for long-term sustainable winning is now developing. It's going into year 4. These guys, these management guys, Tom, Leon, World Wide West, Walt Perrin, Gus, and then of course Johnny Bryant behind Thibs, and you're going to see it, man. It's coming together nicely. So I'm excited about this team. I'm excited about this year. And like I said, I'm not worried if they don't go get everybody. We need to do this or we need to do that. Right now, they got what they need. They got the continuity. They got the squad. I'm not worried about the lack of height at all. If they go to war, what they got now will be good. If they're going to make a move, it's going to be for RJ. And if they do, it's going to be an upgrade. I don't think Masai Ujiri, I think he's so questionable. He's just as bad as Danny Ainge. He's going to ask for too much. And then Leon Rose is going to walk away, as he should. Okay? That's what would happen. He's going to ask for too much for OG and Siakam, and Leon going to say, go ahead, do what you do, because I'm going. And that's the way that's probably going to work. Because Masai has beat the Knicks in terms of trades badly over the years. The Carmelo trade was one. The Glenn Gunroll, with that trade, that was another. He's beat the Knicks badly over the years. So Leon ain't going out like that. So if he asks too much, we'll go to war with what we got. Other than that, we'll see. But I like this team. I like what I saw. The Dice quote told me everything I needed to know about how this management team and coaching staff has come together. And I hope it continues, because the longer it does, the better for us. Y'all enjoy your Wednesday. Shalom.